Most people have a box in their house that hasn't been opened in years. You know the kind. Old Christmas decorations, photo albums, dead batteries, cords that belong to electronics nobody owns anymore. Mine sat in the corner of my basement, collecting dust since we moved into the house 3 years ago. Last Saturday, I finally decided to clean. Behind the water heater was another box I didn't recognize. It wasn't ours. The cardboard had nearly rotted away from moisture, but inside was a single VHS tape. No movie title, no studio logo, just faded masking tape across the front. Written in thick black marker were 3 words: "Do not air." I laughed. Someone's homemade horror movie, I thought. I almost threw it away. Instead, curiosity got the better of me. My dad kept an old VCR in the garage. After fighting with dusty cables for 20 minutes, I finally got it working. The television crackled. Blue screen. Static. Then the emergency alert system tone. Not the modern one. The old one. That metallic buzzing sound that instantly makes your stomach tighten. A title appeared. County Emergency Broadcast Center. The date beneath it made me stop breathing. Tomorrow. Not tomorrow in 1996. Tomorrow, as in my tomorrow. The tape had somehow dated itself one day into the future. I remember laughing again. Nice editing. But something felt wrong. The weather shown in the corner matched the forecast I'd checked that morning. Cloud cover. Temperature. Wind speed. Exactly. The announcer appeared. He looked tired. Not television tired. Like someone who hadn't slept for weeks. His tie hung crooked. There was dried blood near one cuff. He stared into the camera for several seconds before speaking. "If you are viewing this broadcast before 8:43 p.m., he swallowed, "then containment has already failed." I frowned. Containment? He continued. "Do not go outside after sunset. If you hear knocking, do not answer. If someone calls your name from outside, they are already dead." I smiled. Good writing. Then he looked directly into the camera. Not toward it. Into it. "As for the man watching this tape," my smile disappeared. "Wearing the gray sweatshirt." I looked down. My gray sweatshirt. "Leave your basement immediately." My heart began pounding. Nobody could have known what I'd be wearing. Maybe coincidence? Then, "And stop looking behind you." I froze. I don't know why. Maybe instinct? Maybe fear? But every hair on my body stood up. Something inside me refused to turn around. The television emitted another burst of static. When I finally looked, nothing. Just shelves, paint cans, old bicycles. The announcer returned. "I know you looked. I'm sorry." The broadcast cut to security footage. Night vision. A quiet suburban street. Empty. Timestamp, 8:47 p.m. Tomorrow. Then something stepped into frame. At first I thought it was a person. Too tall. Far too thin. Its arms nearly dragged against the pavement. Its head tilted almost sideways. It walked without bending its knees. Every porch light on the street switched off at the exact same moment. The figure stopped beneath one security camera. Then, it looked directly upward. Its face filled the screen. There wasn't one. Just smooth, gray skin stretched tight across where features should have been. Except, there was a mouth. A long, smiling mouth. The announcer's voice returned. They learned our faces. They still haven't learned our voices. The footage changed again. Police body camera. Officers entering a home. Children crying upstairs. One officer whispered, "Did you hear that?" A little girl's voice called from upstairs.
"Daddy?"
The officer behind him answered, "No children live here." The first officer slowly backed towards the front door. Then another voice, his own, coming from upstairs. "Come help me." The body camera shook violently. Both officers ran. The video ended before either reached the door. The television flickered. The announcer looked worse now. Blood covered his collar. Behind him, people ran through the newsroom. If anyone tells you they survived the first night, they're lying. The copies remember enough to convince you. They cry. They laugh. They'll tell stories only your family should know. But they never blink enough. He leaned closer. If you're seeing this, they already know where the tape is. The screen went black for nearly 30 seconds. Then a final image appeared. A camera overlooking a basement. Shelves. Water heater. Boxes. My basement. Recorded from the opposite corner. I stared. The timestamp was tomorrow. The room was empty. Then someone walked down the stairs. Me. Same clothes, same sweatshirt, same posture. Future me looked exhausted, covered in dirt. He stared directly into the camera. I know you're watching this. I only have a few seconds. You need to leave the house before dark. They follow electrical signals. They can see through cameras. He stopped speaking. Looking past the camera, his expression changed. Pure terror. Slowly, very slowly, he whispered, "They're standing right behind you." The recording ended. Blue screen. Silence. I spun around. Nothing. Just empty basement. I yanked the tape out and threw it into the fireplace upstairs. I watched it melt into black plastic. That night I barely slept. The next morning, I convinced myself I'd watched some elaborate horror project. By afternoon, I'd almost forgotten about it. Until 7:58 p.m. The power blinked once. Twice. Then every light in the neighborhood went out. Exactly like the tape. I locked every door, every window. At 8:43 p.m., someone knocked. 3 slow knocks. I didn't move. Then, my phone rang. Caller ID. My own number. I answered without thinking. My own voice whispered, "Don't answer the door." Click. Silence. Another knock. this one louder. Then, my wife called from upstairs. "Honey, can you come here?" I started towards the stairs. Halfway up, I remembered. She was working the night shift. She wasn't home. The voice called again. Perfectly. Exactly like hers. "Honey, I know you found the tape." I ran back downstairs, locked myself in the basement. I've been here ever since, writing this. The knocking stopped an hour ago. But every few minutes, someone softly clears their throat outside the basement door, like they're waiting for me to answer. If you're hearing this, if anyone ever uploads this recording, and tomorrow your television suddenly interrupts whatever you're watching with an emergency broadcast, do yourself one favor. When the man on the screen tells you not to look behind you, listen to him. Because I didn't. And I still don't know what's breathing over my shoulder.